Hey, good afternoon. So this is my first edition of my look at cancelled TV shows. So I've got a few ideas of different themes for different weeks. So I'm going to start this week with looking at shows where a character is enhanced. So I'm excluding kind of superheroes. So these are kind of people that, against their will or maybe some participation, have been enhanced by kind of technology. So I've got 4 different shows I'm going to look at, all of which were cancelled, although one of the shows actually had 3 seasons, but it did actually end up on a cliffhanger on the 3rd season. So the first show I'm going to look at is from about 2000. So what I'm going to do is I'll just highlight the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to show a clip, normally the trailer, and then we're going to have a quick look at the entry in IMDb and Wikipedia. And obviously there's not much point looking at why the program's got cancelled because it's normally always ratings. So I say I've got 4 different programs. So what I'm going to do is just going to show you the first trailer, and it's for a show called Now and Again from 2000.
Before on Now and Again.
The mind thing. Can't lick the mind thing. Just can't build a mind. You really have to harvest one. You know what I mean? You were just about to give up hope, and then you had your unfortunate run-in with the F-train. And well, it just seemed like kismet to us. In return for the gift of sight, mobility, and tactile sensation, for being able to walk, talk, breathe, taste, and touch, all your government asks in return is that you stay dead. We know you didn't choose to die, Mr. Wiseman.
Lacey, come on, what's the matter? What's the matter?
I saw your family. I know how precious they must be to you. But your government can't let anyone know about the existence of this technology.
It's a weekday.
You reaching out to anyone from your past absolutely guarantees your immediate and final death.
Hello?
And the death of whomever you confided in.
Lacey.
I need you to tell me you understand and agree to that.
And what if I say no? What if I won't do it?
Hey, this is America. That's your right. Of course, we'll have to take our $3 billion worth of logic sensors, voice emulators, computer-driven neuron transfer generators, and assorted other doodads and go home. Let nature take its course.
I need your help. I don't have any money, and I need to see Lisa. Lisa Wiseman and Heather. Will you take me to see them? You were a really good friend of Michael's. I know that. So was I.
You are Michael, aren't you?
Forget you came up with that.
Reincarnated.
Bingo.
He thinks you're God. Weissman's been reincarnated and I'm some kind of burning bush.
If you breathe a word of what you've seen tonight, if you breathe a single syllable of your theory, I will smite your ass so fast you'll skip right past heaven and hell and be turned straight into pus.
Grooving all on a crowded avenue.
Can I buy you a pair of shoes?
What size are you?
I have no idea. Tell me about my funeral.
Your wife didn't wear black. She wore orange.
I want to live. I want to live. I want to live.
This was received by the mayor's office 3.5 hours ago. Blind email that was written in Chinese, and what I'm about to read to you is a translation provided by the FBI. Mr. Mayor, perhaps you have read about me. I have unleashed nerve gas attacks in Japan and France. Now it is time for your continent. Now it is time for your city. All of this can be avoided, however, if you will wire transfer $100 million within the next 72 hours to the indicated account.
There you go. So that was actually more of a recap of episodes one and two because when I looked for the trailer, it didn't really go into as much detail. Um, so let's have a quick look at what Wikipedia says. So here we go. So in case it wasn't obvious from that clip, basically it's a guy. Um, I'll read out what it actually says. So now and again is American science fiction comedy drama television series created by Glenn Gordon Caron that aired from September 24th, 1999 until 5th of May 2000 on CBS. The story revolves around United States government engineering the perfect human body for use in espionage, but are unable to perfect the brain. In an attempt to get the project up and running, they take the brain of an overweight family man, Michael Wiseman, who is killed in a train accident, and he's played by John Goodman um, in that first episode. Given a new life, Michael is kept in an apartment where he's trained by government experts led by Dr. Theodore Morris in the art of espionage. Despite his new life and new abilities, Michael longs to return to his wife, Lisa, and daughter Heather, who are themselves discovering that not all is what it seems with Michael's death. So, so I watched this on ITV back in probably not long after it was originally out. I think it was just before I went to university. So let's see what else it says on here. Um, I'm more interested in kind of behind the scenes things, reasons why it got cancelled. See, so it has been released on DVD. There's not a great deal of information. Let me just scroll back up. Production and broadcast. The show ran for one season, so it had 22 episodes according to this. I did see all of them, although the funny thing is the one episode I didn't really see was the pilot episode. I think I may have seen it halfway through, so I never actually saw the John Goodman parts. Although I did notice that the episode is on YouTube, so you could actually watch that. So let's have a quick look at IMDb because they normally have a lot more behind the scenes information. So what I'll do is, oh yeah, so the cast. So obviously, as I mentioned, John Goodman was in the first episode. The main character after John Goodman character dies is an actor called Eric Close, and the only thing I saw him in after now and again was I think it was one of the Law and Order um, spin-offs, Special Victim Unit, one of them. Although I didn't actually watch it, I just spotted that he was in it. I think the main person that's most well known is nowadays is Dennis Haysbert, who plays the doctor who looks after. He's kind of like the guy who's created the technology, um, and obviously he went on to be in 24, probably the year after this was out. So he's probably lucky for him that it got cancelled. Um, oh, I just spotted a few people on the chat. So yeah, so let's have a look at the comments. Uh, Nightbot's going crazy. I did turn it on, and I don't really know how it works. Um, so so anyway, so yeah, so Dennis Haysbert was obviously the main kind of scientist behind it. It was quite amusing thing by his character was that he constantly threatens the main guy with death if he reveals who he actually is, which, considering they want him to actually work for them, seemed a bit crazy. Um, Similar to the next one I'm going to show you, it focuses a lot on the family aspect. So he still wants to get back with his wife and daughter. Um, so here we go. So let's just see if I can see anything. Trivia is always useful in these. So let's have a look here. CBS cancelled the show after one season, and the first season ending is a cliffhanger. Yeah, as with most things that get cancelled. The series was co-produced by CBS, the network that aired the series, and Paramount, Viacom, which owned the latter. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to look at the auto mod things, but hopefully it's not stopping too much participation in the chat for you. Sorry about that. Right, so let's look at the next one on my list. No, before I do that, the next one's called is Kyle XY.
My birth was unconventional at best.
The boy has no family that you know of. He doesn't communicate. And he was found just wandering alone in the woods.
One more thing you should see. No belly button.
There's a very special patient of mine, and he's coming to stay with us.
Doesn't he have a family of his own?
And that was an hour-long test. How long did it take him? 5 minutes?
And he got them all right.
Yo! Juice me!
Did he just learn to talk in one day?
A surprising journey.
What am I?
An incredible mystery.
Somebody's looking for him.
ABC Family presents a new original series about a boy with no past.
Help me.
And the family who found him.
I'm gonna take care of you, Kyle. I promise.
Kyle XY premieres Monday, June 26th, only on ABC Family.
Right, so that was Kyle XY, which had 3 seasons. Again, similar to the previous one, it focused a lot on family life, and if it wasn't obvious from the trailer, they find a boy kind of wandering in a forest, and he's got no belly button, which they seem to like to use that picture a lot on the what do you call it, on the promo posters. So let's have a look what it says online. Let's go. So there we go. So Kyle XY was an American science fiction television series produced by ABC Family. The central character is a teenage boy played by Matt Dallas who awakens naked in a forest outside Seattle, Washington, with no more knowledge, with no more knowledge or abilities than a newborn, and no belly button. He's taken in by a family and given the name Kyle. I won't read all that because it's way too much. But anyway, the basic premise was that he's got all kinds of. As the show progresses, they discover he's got all kinds of special abilities, kind of like psychic abilities and stuff, and it turns out that basically he's a product of a government experiment. So it had 3 seasons, and one of the interesting things I found about it was I think in season 2 they brought in a kind of female equivalent of him called Jessie. I think she was. So and she was played by Jamie Alexander. For those that don't know, Jamie Alexander. She went on to. She was Lady Sif in Thor, and she also ended up. What's the name of the show she's in? Blind Spot, is it? The one where she's got all the tattoos all over her. I didn't watch that, but I know of. But she did that kind of not long after Kyle XY. Let's see if there's anything interesting on. Here's the poster. Where he's got no belly button. The reason he's got no belly button is because basically he's kind of a clone, and he's basically been cloned, and he's basically produced. He lives in a tank up until he's like at the age of 15, which is the age I think he's supposed to be when he escapes. And the basic premise is that all his powers, all his abilities come from his brain, and the idea is that the more time a baby spends before they're born. So it's a bit of a ridiculous premise, but they say that Einstein was as smart as he was because his mother didn't give birth to him he was like 2 or 3 weeks overdue, and that has enhanced his brain. So these scientists basically keep a baby, basically grow a baby up until adult age, to make sure he gets super powers. Obviously, it's ridiculous. I think I remember looking up. In reality, you actually end up more likely to have a disability if you're actually, your mother's overdue. Oh yeah, sorry you can't do emotes. I'll have to look into that. But at least you can actually do comments, so that's good. Yeah, so I'd say the show styled Matt Dallas. He's not really done a great deal since this. Like I said, I think the most famous person out of this program was Jessie Alexander. She's become relatively successful. I'll say, unlike the other shows on this list today, this had 3 seasons, and it probably could have done with about 1 more season to kind of wrap everything up. But that's the way. The third out of 4 today. Let's just have a look where we're up to. So the third one is, forget this in the right order. Yeah, the third one is a show called Intelligence, starring Josh Holloway, that you may remember from Lost. So let's watch the trailer.
Can you explain why you are trespassing on government property?
That woman who brought you coffee, she's afraid of you. Why is that, Badri?
I haven't told you our names. Did you just do that?
Riley,
Pleasure to meet you.
what do you know about a program called Clockwork? It's this generation's Manhattan Project, the most devastating weapon ever built. While other agencies have been busy trying to make artificial intelligence more human, we gave a human a kind of power that had previously only been found in a machine, an advanced intelligence agent. I want you to protect it for us.
Gabriel, you're done. Oh, finally.
We connected a human being directly to the information grid. Internet, telephone, satellite.
All the intel I have access to, I can see it like a virtual evidence wall. The chip processes it like a computer, but my brain metabolizes it like a brain.
That is a great party trick.
You've changed your hair color. Wow, that photo you emailed your boyfriend in college.
What's that supposed to mean?
1060 on your SATs? Come on.
I was a bad test taker.
Youngest woman ever appointed to presidential detail. Now what? Following around the charming devil with a microchip in his brain.
Almost every word of that was accurate.
Almost. Which word did I get wrong?
Charming.
Come on, I thought this was a part where we share and bond.
Seems like the part where I find out how much of a pain in the ass you are.
Eyes up front. What you're about to see is a kidnapping. The victim is Dr. Cassidy, our top neuroscientist.
This is more than personal. Cassidy's like a father to me.
What would your government do to you if they learned you made a second chip?
You think I'm going to implant an untested, possibly defective chip in a live human? No.
Kidnappers are Chinese. Translation? Bring the box.
Where'd you learn Mandarin?
I didn't. I got an app for that.
You need an upgrade. Xiang means box, yes, but Baoxianjiang means safe. Bring the safe.
I like the new girl. I'm in the database now. Hello, Wong Fu. Took a bullet from me? What the hell are you doing?
My job!
Do you have any idea what would happen if this chip ends up in the wrong hands?
This thing in my head may be valuable, but you don't want to sit in a hangar. Need that satellite!
Satellite 3, 2,
no time! Can't stay here.
Let me be very clear with you. You're here to keep it safe.
Him, not it.
The Romans said it's bad luck not to give something to the person who saved your life.
I think a 20 should about cover it.
You think I'm paying you? I saved your life.
I'm bleeding.
Just a flesh wound. Don't be dramatic.
Gabriel, I have your friend.
Would this help?
drop your weapon.
Shoot him!
A little to the left,
What are you talking about?
3 degrees down. Now, Doc!
He's reckless, unpredictable, and insubordinate.
And you put a computer in his head. If they wanted a robot, they could have built one. They wanted a human, and they got one. $20, what's this for?
For the next time.
What would your government do to you if they learned you made a second chip?
Right, there you go. So that was intelligence. I'm pretty sure that kind of gave a good overview of what that was about. So basically, Josh Holloway is a sort of, I think he's already a government agent, and they put this special microchip in his brain that lets him access all kinds of different information, including all the internet and all the intelligence services, databases and things, and it makes him, obviously he's got all the information access. I tell you, this reminds me a lot of Chuck. For anyone that watched Chuck, in Chuck he had a lot of information downloaded into his brain. Obviously that was more of a comedy. That's not on the list today because that had about 5 seasons and had a proper ending. But this unfortunately only had 1 season. So let's go to the internet to see what it says about this one. Right, here we go. So I think that pretty much covered that promo covered it. So I won't read the beginning. Let's just see if there's anything useful. So premiered on the 24th of February 2014. Had 13 episodes. If you know anything much about how TV is produced in the United States, the reason why you often see 13 episodes on cancelled TV shows is when you get greenlit for a full season after pilot, you get 13 episodes, and if it's then popular after that, you get what's referred to as the back 9, which takes you up to 22 episodes. So that's why you often see 13 on shows that are cancelled. So let's see. So yeah, so it starred Josh Holloway. So this was kind of the first thing he did after Lost. And yes, he definitely should have. I had to count. It definitely should have got a second season because it was this. This is definitely the best one out of the 4 shows that I'm doing today. Big values. Obviously, it had Marge Helgerd Bergen, who's sort of straight up from leaving CSI. So she was in obviously CSI for like 10 years or something. So she played kind of like in charge of the project. And then he had the kind of love interest, kind of played by Megan Ore. This was the first thing she did after being in Once Upon a Time. For anyone that's watched Once Upon a Time, she played Red Riding Hood in that. And I used to watch that as well, so I recognised her. So I think the scientist who creates the technology was a guy out of one of the Star Treks. I think it was Dr. Phlox from Star Trek Enterprise, I think. So yeah, so it was an interesting premise, the idea that you put this chip in someone's brain and then suddenly they've got access. Dr. Phlox, yeah. So let's see if there's anything useful on here. The plot is said to have been inspired by the novel Phoenix Island by John Dixon, but some critics have their reservations. That's a bit of a weird fact, isn't it? That it may, but it may not have been inspired by something. Critical response. David Hickney of the New York Daily News gave the show 3 out of 5. Tim Goodman of the Hollywood Reporter says the show goes overboard on the merging of human and computer technology. Well, I mean, it's science fiction. It doesn't need to be accurate, does it? So there we go. So let's have a look what IMDb says. So there we go. So you got a nice picture of Josh Holloway. Incidentally, Josh Holloway, after this got cancelled, went on to another science fiction series called Colony, and that had 3 seasons, and then that got cancelled as well. And that was a alien invasion show, and that was really good. I really liked that, and I was very upset when that got cancelled. So he's not had good luck with Colony. Yeah, I think it's on Netflix if you've got Netflix. Seasons 1 and 2 are really good, but unfortunately, that I'm going off on a tangent on a different show. But anyway, that had production problems because they had to move from LA to Vancouver. Didn't like Colony. Well, yeah, I guess that's why it got cancelled, because not enough people liked it. But anyway, back to Intelligence. So I assume CBS is one of those networks that cancels a lot. NBC cancel a lot of sci-fi as well. So let's just see if I can find anything useful on here. So scroll down to... I don't use IMDb as much as I used to, but it's useful for the trivia. Let's see what it says trivia. There's not much trivia there. It mentions that 4 people appeared on Lost, including Josh Holloway. Then it says it's based on the book Phoenix Island, obviously, which apparently is consented. The organisation that Gabriel belongs to is called USCC, and it stands for United States Cyber Command. I do vaguely remember that. So there you go. So that was a good one, and that shouldn't really have got cancelled. NBC cancelled Star Trek. Yeah. Although Star Trek did actually have, 3 seasons, didn't it? So it did quite well. Right, so let's go to the 4th one. So this is the last show I'm going to cover, and it is called Second Chance. I'll show you the trailer.
You've been through something. I don't want you to be afraid.
Do I look afraid?
My name's Mary. Do you know who you are?
Jimmy Pritchard. My voice sounds funny. Where's my hand? Not my hand, Mary.
Can you tell me the last thing you remember?
There was a break-in at my son's house. They were looking for something. I died.
It's who we've been waiting for. He's here to save us.
This isn't me.
This is the best version of you. You're the first to journey all the way back, to get another chance.
He's stronger than predicted. His regenerated body nearly 5 times more powerful than an average man.
I've never been able to do that.
Your family buried you.
Ghost killers are out there in my city. My son is in trouble.
You'll be needing a car.
This'll do. You knew your father. He was selfish to the end.
You know, he did what he had to do.
You mean like planting evidence instead of coming home at night?
So I'm relieved he's gone. Why'd you really do this to me, Mary?
I have cancer. Auto recoded your white blood cells to fight off death.
You brought me back to save you. I was never there for him before. Maybe I'm not just back to save you. Maybe you dig this cops and robbers stuff. What would you do with a second chance?
Right, there you go. So that was Second Chance, which had 1 season. So let's have a look what it says online. So Second Chance is an American science fiction crime drama television series created by Rand Ravish. It's inspired by the 1818 novel Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus by Mary Shelley. I think that's going a bit far to say it's based on Frankenstein. The show debuted online on December 25th, 2015 and started broadcasting on January 13th, 2016 on Fox. on January 29th, 2016, Second Chance was moved to Fridays at 9 p.m. Following poor ratings in its first 2 episodes, swapping time slots and days with Hell's Kitchen. On May 12th, 2016, Fox cancelled the series after 1 season. So that's always an interesting thing if you're the kind of person that's interested in programs getting cancelled. Friday nights are renowned for being a bad slot to be on. It's one of the places where you just don't get high ratings, and that's because of the American culture where people go out. Football night is Fridays, I believe. That's why they have a TV show Friday Night Lights, whatever it's called. But anyway, yeah, it's unusual for TV programs to be on Fridays unless there's a certain niche market that they can retain the audience for. So it's never a good idea for a show to get moved. I always find these. I know these kind of things because I always read a lot about when TV programs get cancelled. So let's have a quick look if it's anything else useful on this. Yes, I've not even described. Yeah, so my interpretation based on that trailer is it's a retired cop. He's like in his 70s, pushing 80, and he is murdered. He gets shot in the head, but some corporation run by some tech genius, young guy, who has got technology where he can regenerate your cells. So rather than bring you back to life as you were, it kind of regrows your body, but uses the optimum efficiency of your DNA. So that young big guy that he becomes is like what he potentially could have been, and obviously he's got super strength and everything going with these type of programs. It similar to the other shows. It focuses there's an FBI agent who's actually his son, and doesn't know it's his father who's been brought back to life. But it was quite good. I kind of like that the company that's developed him. It's quite interesting the reasons why they do it, and I can understand why it got cancelled. The lead actor wasn't a very good actor. In fact, let's have a look who he was. So he's a guy called Robert Zeniski, unless that's the old version. That might be the old. No, that's him. Yeah, the actor that played the old version is probably quite well known. Let's see if we can find a picture of him. Should have him. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you'll recognise this guy. Yeah, I think you've all seen. Everyone will have seen him in something or other. Let's see what IMDb says about this program. Yes. The other thing is every day he has to get back in this kind of tank where his cells can regenerate. Otherwise, he'll die. I can't remember exactly the details behind that, but that was the basic premise that if he doesn't get in there, he'll kind of degrade because his body will revert to, like, obviously he was brought back from the dead. Don't think there was many other well-known people that I can remember other than the old guy. Let's see if there's any trivia. Let's just read that. Follows the life of Jimmy Pritchard, 79-year-old Kingstown, Washington sheriff who was morally corrupt and later disgraced and forced to retire. After he is killed in a robbery at his son's home, Pritchard is brought back to life in the improved body of a younger man by billionaire tech genius twins Mary and Otto Goodwin. I believe that the Mary Goodwin was a reference to Frankenstein, because that was Mary Shelley's maiden name. However, despite having a new life and chance to relive his life and to find a new purpose, the temptations that led to his career being tarnished continue. Let's see if there's any trivia. So it mentions the Frankenstein. It was originally going to be called the Frankenstein Code, or Looking Glass, which was the name of the company that featured, that were behind that. So that's the 4 programs I'm going to look at. The last clip I've got is slightly off the tangent because it's not a human that's actually been it's not a human that's been enhanced. It's a robot, and like I say, it's not exactly fitting in this, but it popped into my head as I was compiling this list. I won't say what it is until in fact, I'll just play the clip and see if anyone remembers it, because it's a film that I used to love when I was younger. So let's.
You were right about its learning potential.
No, I was wrong. I think he's learned a lot more than I ever thought possible.
What's your name, son?
My name is Daryl.
And what you doing up in these parts?
I don't know.
Physically, he's 100%, but he is suffering substantial amnesia. He doesn't remember parents, home, anything like that. He handles it well, though, so you can certainly go ahead.
We'll find a family that wants to look after you until your own folks come and take you home, okay?
Howie came by the site today, and they have a kid at the center. He's a boy. He's 9 or 10 years old.
I don't get it. You remember how to read. You remember your name. Stuff like that. But you don't remember your family, your school, if you've got brothers or sisters. It doesn't make sense.
I love Daryl. I really do hope we'll be able to adopt him. It's just he doesn't seem to need anybody.
All knowledge is learning, and therefore good.
Daryl, come on, let's go.
What is this? Daryl's an experiment in artificial intelligence. He was never meant to leave here. And he was certainly never meant to be with people.
Holy shit. He's a robot? Doctor? What am I?
They want to know how you do that. As a matter of fact, so do I.
Well, I can sort of read what a computer is doing.
You can control it. Welcome to task.
Look at him. He's just a little boy, flesh and blood.
Thanks to Dr. Mulligan's mistakes, we now know a lot more about Daryl's potential than we did before.
Baseball, friendships.
We need an adult version of this prototype. The Youth Life Form project as of now is terminated. The ARYL goes to the scrapyard. Understood.
Pictures presents Daryl.
There you go. So that was Daryl, which was one of my favourite films when I was younger. God knows how many times I watched that film. I must have had it on tape because I rewatched it loads of times. So let's have a quick look. So obviously that's slightly off tangent on everything else, because that was a film and not a TV show, but it just popped into my head. But let's just have a quick look what the internet says about Daryl. So Daryl's a 1985 science fiction film by David Ambrose, Alan Scott and Jeffrey, and directed by Simon Windsor. I think the most famous actor you'll recognise from that is Michael McKeegan from Spinal Tap, or what do you call it? Better Call Saul. This guy. So it was, it was a real good. Obviously, he was a complete android, so there was it wasn't like an enhanced human like everybody else on this. Let's have a quick look. So there's the that would be like the VHS cover that I can remember. I think I probably saw it on VHS, and it was he has to fly this what they call the Bluebird, that plane. I seem to remember. It reminded me of a scene from Joe 90 because I remember Joe 90 did something similar to that. Um, don't think the actor that played Daryl ever did much after this. Let's see if we can find him. Yeah, you get the feel the fact that there's no adult picture of him. He doesn't seem to have done much. Yeah, he's not done anything since 1989. But yeah, Daryl was a great film, and obviously that theme of basically, androids. I mean, they make a reference in that clip of intelligence where they say rather than use artificial intelligence to for intelligence gathering, they're going to actually use a human brain with the augmentation of technology. Whereas in Daryl, obviously, he's completely 100% robot. Um, and on the first clip I showed you of Now and Again, they actually make it an issue that they actually point out that that they can't make an artificial brain, so that's why they have to put a human brain in the body, of the synthetic body. They never on Now and Again actually. I didn't mention this earlier, but they never actually explain whether he's a kind of robot or whether it's some sort of biological synthetic body similar to Blade Runner. Um, it always bothered me that they didn't actually explain. I assume he was some kind of biological because they didn't mention any sort of mechanical aspect to him. So, so that's the four TV programs that I've listed. Anyone in the chat think of anything similar to on this theme? Like I said, Chuck was one that I thought of, but that didn't get cancelled because it had 5 seasons. Anyone think of anything? I'm sure there must be other shows like this where people have been enhanced. I just can't remember any. Yeah, Chuck was great. I think Chuck actually, went on too long. I think it should have. I think they should have ended it at least a season before. Um, but as for ones that Proms got cancelled, I'm trying to think of Bionic Man and Woman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. In fact, I was thinking. I forgot to say actually at the beginning that a lot of these kind of the Bionic Man was probably the precursor. Oh yeah, Invisible Man. Let's. So that was from the. I did look up this. The David McCallum one that you mentioned a few weeks ago. Let's see. David McCallum. I can't spell McCallum. See if I can find it. The trailer. Is there a trailer? It'd be funny now. You can find clips of the. That looks like it's not a very good clip. Yeah, it doesn't look very good, does it? But yeah, David, the Invisible Man. Oh, here we go. Theme. Just the theme music. No, I might not have the. Oh, 1 second. Can you hear that now? Can you hear it? Oh well, not to worry. Um, so anyway, so yeah, the Invisible Man was. I didn't watch a lot of it. Obviously, it's made in the 70s, so it was. I think it had very limited repeats when I was younger. Um, yeah, I'm sure I have tested. Actually, no, I haven't tested YouTube audio, but not to worry. But the Invisible Man, yeah, it's I always seem to remember he has to paint on sort of prosthetic makeup so he doesn't look invisible anymore. Um, that was quite fun. But yeah, the funny thing about that version of Invisible Man was if you know the H.G. Wells version or any of the 1930s movies, um, he always goes insane because the drug that makes him invisible actually makes him go insane. Um, so he ends up like murdering people. I watched a lot of the old black and white movies, and I'm pretty sure that's in the H.G. Wells. Uh, maybe not. Maybe I'm just guessing. So so yeah. In the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna come up with some other themes. I think I've seen. I think we're gonna have a space issue because there's things the obvious cancelled show Firefly, and I'm trying to cover programs that I've seen rather than things that just looking things up because it's quite easy to just find a list of cancelled programs. Um, so yeah, so next week I'm going to do an episode covering that will include Firefly. There'll be another few clips as well from other shows. And the week after that, I'm going to do some sort of supernatural type. So not the actual program Supernatural, because that really should have got cancelled because it had 15 seasons. And I watched all 15 of them. And they weren't short seasons either. That's 22 episodes times 15, so they had over 300 episodes. Well, that's the CW for you. They don't cancel anything. So so yeah, so that'll be the third week. I'll do supernatural type shows, and that'll include a program called Brimstone, um, which I watched back in 1998. I actually found an episode on YouTube, but it's so really low quality, so I don't think it's worth showing. But I can show the trailer. Um, so yeah, so like I say I'm going to do different themes each week. So like I say this week was kind of enhanced humans, and obviously I cheated by putting Daryl on at the end because he's artificial. Next week will be space type cancelled shows. I don't think I'm going to include Star Trek because that'd just be too on the nose, wouldn't it? But I say I will include Firefly. And week 3 I'm going to do supernatural type shows, kind of monsters and ghosts and supernatural afterlife type things. And yeah, see where we go after that. So yeah, there's loads of programs that I've watched, and nearly all of them get cancelled. Like I say, sometimes shows should get cancelled. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed this week's stream. I've got a video on demand switched on now, so you can re-watch this, unlike last week when I forgot to turn it on. And obviously this is a much more interesting stream than the one I did the other day of me juggling. But at least I did get to appear on Bite My Thumb juggling, so that's quite fun. So unless anyone's got any other suggestions, I think I'll draw this to a close now. So I think this has gone quite well. Hope you all enjoyed it. Right, I'll finish up. I'll see if I can. Let's see if I can raid. Second. Raiding all sorts, hopefully.